Oh, something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! That was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Arglye is well and truly on. Oh, something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! That was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Arglye is well and truly on. Oh, something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! That was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Arglye is well and truly on. Oh, something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! That was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Arglye is well and truly on. Oh, something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! That was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Arglye is well and truly on. Something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! Mumba, that was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Argyle is well and truly on. Oh, something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! Mumba, that was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Argyle is well and truly on. Oh, something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! Mumba, that was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Argyle is well and truly on. Oh, something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! Mumba, that was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Argyle is well and truly on. Oh, something acrobatic, it's in from HARDIE! There's the leveller for Plymouth Argyle! 10 minutes to go! The Blades undone by the corner kick! Mumba, that was superb. It's looking for Tijani! Absolutely incredible! The wheels have come off for Sheffield United, but the survival bid for Argyle is well and truly on.
Get ready, everybody, for the Block 9 post-match reaction, and it's live! Well, evening, everybody. So, here we go. Let me just pull that up there. Right, here we go. Everyone. So, are you all buzzing today still like we are? Well, you should be. After Wednesday's Swansea nightmare, our club, Plymouth Argyle, dug deep, summoning an incredible team spirit and a cast iron mindset to topple promotion-chasing Sheffield United at our Ring of Steel home park. Yep, we bent the blade steel with sheer heart, proving we've still got the fight to keep our championship hopes burning bright. Tijani's late strike cutting through the Sheffield defence like a hot knife through butter, sending the Green Army wild. Speaking of going wild, yes, Chris Wilder, we might be bottom for a reason, but we have certainly dented your hopes of automatic promotion. What an emotional roller coaster of a week. Oh, let's dive into it. So, evening, gents, Andy, Steve, Carl, and Gavin. How are we all doing?
Good evening. Yeah, it's wow. Still coming down from that one. It's a great one. Great result, wasn't it?
So, yeah, how do you sum that up, Andy? I mean, we obviously did our live lounge on Friday this week, so right before the game, and obviously you were saying how you felt positive. I've always sort of clinged on to that glimmer of hope, but still sort of accepting that we might obviously be going down. And yeah, look, we turned up yesterday and put in a great, certainly second half performance.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Second half, I think the introduction of Joe Edwards was the key turning point for us, really. First thing he did when he came to the pitch, went to the fans and said, "Come on, let's get behind them." And that's exactly what the 12th man did. Yeah. And that's what got us over the line, because once we got that goal, that first goal back, the roof was lifted off. And when you thought it couldn't be lifted even more off, got pops Tijani with the winner. Yeah, fantastic, mate. What absolute euphoria.
Yeah, not forgetting HARDIE also hitting the post with a shot as well, in the box. So it was like, and Bundu's obviously before, HARDIE's goal, the Bundu penalty that really should have been, but we got a goal from the resulting corner. Steve, how are you feeling? I know you weren't at the game and you were sort of keeping an eye on it while busy, but yeah, it's great to keep us back in the fight. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Those words that Wilder said before the game really stuck with me, really wound me up as well. And but it's going to bit him on the ass now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure.
Yeah, but having Joe, he gives you an extra 24%. Joe does as well.
We'll come on. We'll come on to touch upon the Joe point in a minute. Carl, give us your initial synopsis of that game.
Well, it wasn't a 4-0 as I predicted during the week, was it? So that was an improvement. But yeah, I should have known it would have been typical Argyle to go and beat Sheffield United at home, which we did. We're back in the fight. Some of us gave up, some of us didn't. But looks like we're back in it for another few weeks at least, and we've got to follow this up on Friday now to try and get another result against Middlesbrough. This is the problem. We need to go back to back now if you want to do it. Yeah,
and I think we can. Gavin, the results also sort of went our way yesterday to a degree, so it does keep those sort of hopes and dreams of another final countdown to see if we can stay in this league. But yeah, what was your thoughts yesterday?
I was pleasantly surprised, I think, as most of the ground was. It was a performance I thought everyone thought we were capable of. But after the ups and downs, ins and outs, rights and wrongs of us playing really well last Saturday and horrifically at Swansea on Wednesday, did we actually think it was going to come? No. I dragged myself out of the sickbed, got there with zero expectations. And I thought we were very good. I actually thought we were very good in the first half, contrary to Twitter belief. I went in at half time thinking we've been absolutely mugged there by one piece of quality. Other than that, I thought our defensive shape was brilliant. I thought our resolute. Yes, we didn't have many chances, but neither did they. I thought it was a typical both teams need to win, but everyone's frightened to get themselves forward type of first half. And the second half, certainly the last 35, 40 minutes, I thought we were exceptional.
Yeah, no, I think sort of for me, you know, my view on the game was very much that, you know, it's one of these things where I think that sort of first half performance, you know, can sort of make people lean to, and I know not everybody agrees with you and I in terms of the first half on here even, but it's one of those where the way that we set up in this 70-30 possession, and if you can see Sophie sticking her head, she loves watching us do these podcasts. You know, I think you are going to be sort of defensive for quite a proportion of the game, and it may look like you're not attacking. You know, I was saying in our chat earlier about the lack, the sort of lack of quality from the likes of Wright, but he was chasing a lot of long balls that weren't ideal. You know, Obafemi doing the same when we don't start games well. It's one of those where even JB in the midfield, which will all come on to all those 4 changes that were made. It's one of those where when we do start and we manage to get some good play, you know, it can make a massive difference, you know, and if we don't concede that early goal and don't bottle it again, you know, it's a huge impact on the team. And yes, okay, we had one decent chance. We'll show the highlights in a second, you know, where it really should have been a penalty to Bundu. But above all else, I think that first start was, you know, sort of keeping Sheffield United at bay. And I think the only shots on goal were probably the header early on from the corner that went over. And then obviously Raksaki's superbly taken goal and a bit of great build-up play to knock a little bit of wind out of our sails, but not fully at half time. So, yeah, so what I might actually do for a change is I'm just going to play these highlights straight away. Normally, let us digest the game a bit more, but we want to enjoy this, don't we? So let's jump into it, and I'll stop it at applicable point. So this is the penalty shout very early on in the first half.
Well, he got the ball. Bundu went over.
Replay,
Robinson just wraps him up, just grabs hold
Bundu
of the
looked
striker.
like
He's
he
not
was
playing the ball.
possibly backpedaling and going down anyway, but that's, I mean, cool. Andy.
I think The Rock in his wrestling days would have been proud of that sleeper hold. It was a mugging, wasn't it? If you did that to someone in the middle of a nightclub, you'd be bounced down the stairs and handed straight over to the old Bill.
Yeah, exactly, Andy. Sorry, Gavin. No,
I was going to say you might as well just hand over the gaff for that because it's a rugby challenge, isn't it?
We're all quite.
If that was a rugby match, you'd have been yellow, and then they would have reviewed it whether it was red.
There's definitely a few in here that'll be waiting for those rugbyisms. I think what is also dangerous with this is how Cooper obviously flips because of Bundu going into him, but his knees are so close to the side of his head as he goes in. So, but to me, Bundu looks like he's losing his feet, but he was dragged down, blatant head.
Is the target.
That's ridiculous.
Hang on, let me just turn the commentary volume down a little bit.
So yeah, better well out of position.
He was, and I think
it wasn't a great header by Poulsen originally, was it?
Well, there was 2 of them, Houghton in the line, as well as Poulsen. Just it was just a great.
I don't think you can be putting anyone under the bus for this goal. I think it's just an absolute piece of quality. They've gone forward really quickly.
Quick play.
Is Houston's header brilliant? No. It either should be up and away or up and out the game sideways. But he's twisting like hell to try and stop it. Everyone swept across. It's the speed of the ball, and Rakasaki's class, isn't he? End of chat.
Yeah, and I think the fact that in this whole 2 minutes or so, whatever it is, of highlights, that literally was all they're showing of the first half says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that they didn't show the header, to be fair, that they also had early on from the corner. But also Rakzaki, it was clear that he liked to go on his left. I think, and I said in the first half, I'm with sort of, I know Petey's on as well, got Graham in as well tonight, Sarah, Paul and Ninja Matt. I felt Ogbeta didn't have a horrendous game or a terrible game coming in, but he definitely needed the support of Pleggy because it was a big mismatch of the two there, because Raksaki is physically strong and got that quality. So carry on with the VT. This is the vital moment now of where this was going to be a game decider, and also Mumba didn't really learn from what happened to Ogbeta by trying to prevent Raksaki going in on his left foot. So Oh, Kyle, give your thoughts on that, because that could have been a massive turning point. If they'd have gone 2-0 up, even with Edwards on, I think we would have struggled to get back into it.
Yeah, that was critical. I mean, going 2-0 down, I think would have been game, set, and match. But very similar play, isn't it? I mean, Mumba out of position. He did get a little bit tighter than Ogbeta did, but yeah, Raksaki, obviously, he's a class player and he can turn anyone inside out. So I don't want to blame Ogbeta. I don't think the actual turning inside out was that bad. It was more the position of Ogbeta. He was just miles away from him, and obviously Paulson didn't help with the clearance originally.
The difference between the two, though, is the pass is given 10 yards inside off our half, which gives Bally 30, 40 yards to get back and do something.
Yeah.
The pass for the first goal was either on our edge of our box or inside our box. One or the other, I can't remember, from a couple of seconds ago. And it was just the speed of the pass. So
the speed of the play overall.
Yeah, and no matter where you are, you needed to be stood next to Rakasaki, make an impact there. If you're 5 yards off him, you're done, you're toast.
No, totally.
So it was just, I just put it down to, that's a class bit of football, move on.
Well, that's and in fairness, that's why they're up there, isn't it? You know, because they've got those players that can make those moves. I mean, Martin Ingham, good evening, Martin, has posted just saying that diagonal ball to their goal scorer was allowed to happen far too often in the game. I was relieved when they took him off. I was shocked that they took him off. I mean, we seemed to leave him a lot of space and room out wide, but he was arguably their most effective player in the game.
I think to be honest, even if Pukac was playing, I think he would have struggled against that ball because he's a lot slower than Ogbeta. So I think it still would have been the same result even if he was playing there.
Yeah, this is where I would give naturally, of course, I would give some credit to Pleggy. I think Pleggy, they realised that Ogbeta was not able to handle him so well, and there was that challenge where Pleggy just went flying at him to kick the ball out after he had gone down as many of the Sheffield Wednesday players did just before that, bemoaning that Pleggy brought him down for a penalty. So Pleggy certainly got on top of Raksaki. There he is. Look, yes, but brilliant save.
That's a good save, point blank, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll come on to Hazard as well when we look at the player ratings. So, there's the shot from HARDIE. And he obviously hits it into the ground. He hits it into the ground.
I think if he doesn't hit that to ground, that's in the back of the net.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a shame. You were just like, oh God, can we get there? But we were starting to build. That momentum was going. The crowd got going. Notably, I know it's half term. There were quite a few empty seats, but we still managed to make it good.
500 missing.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, throughout the stadium, 500, which is what 2.5% of the total ground. But yeah, if they didn't bring a full contingent, it'd have been about 15,500, and everyone would go.
You could probably take in aspect of the Easter holidays as well, maybe people being away and stuff.
I'm not sure what Voodoo's implying in the comments.
No, exactly. I just put it up there. Peggy mentions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I won't bring it up again, but I have to argue. Paul Dan, good evening, and you, Voodoo, for being in tonight. Pleggy is underrated this season. Not on this channel.
I think it's highly rated, not underrated.
Andy, sorry. I didn't realise you also had a Besotta with Peggy Mitchell as well, coming to Voodoo. Get out of my pub.
Yeah, my pub.
So there we go. The momentum was coming in our way. Sheffield United did look very edgy. That was for sure, and we took advantage of it. There was Edwards flicking a ball over to Bundu. This
is a pen.
Yeah, it is a pen. He took his kicking foot away, isn't he?
Well, there's another thing to that is, I know it's slightly off, but he goes right through him from behind, really, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So
it gives a corner for that. Really,
the referee was myopic, wasn't he? All game.
Oh, that's a pen.
That's a pen. All day.
Couldn't he have hit that quicker though, and not did the turn first time?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think if he'd hit that earlier, this is a great.
And this is the resulting goal. Edwards, look at that, look, and I was saying this to Andy just before you all joined us on the stream to go, prior to going live, that actually HARDIE's finish there is not easy, and he just delicately nudges it at goal.
He sort of backheeled it, didn't he? I think.
Just a little flick. It's all it needed.
Yeah.
A gentle. There we go. Brilliant.
Great assist by Edwards as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the whole. Let's just watch that again. Why not? The whole sort of.
It's a real poacher's goal because he
Edwards
kind
was
of
on his bike there, wasn't he? He's in the bicycle.
isn't it, of where the ball might end up.
Yeah. There we go.
Joe will be saying in training tomorrow morning, yeah, I absolutely meant that pass.
So yeah, so I just want to point out this for me, and we'll come more on to each player. I just felt Randall was just edgy in the game, and this was just another one of those where he passed it. He didn't play the pass very well. It got caught out and caught out. Obviously, led to this attack. And I'm sat there watching this live, going, "Oh my God, don't let it happen to him again."
If you look at the midfield battle, and obviously in my position in the Crow's Nest, I can. Hammer ran the game. He looked like he should be playing tight head for Gloucester, because he's carrying a bit of timber. But he ran the game.
Who was that? Sorry, did you say
Hammer?
Hammer, yeah.
Sorry, yes,
Hammer,
yeah.
Sorry, I'll use my Jana pronunciation. Hammer. Hammer. He ran the game. He ran the game, and he made both Houghton, I thought, and Randall at times look very average. But
yeah,
his quality, if he lost 3 stone, he'd be Premier League player.
He stood out to me watching him from where in block 9 as well. To be fair, so and he
provides the pass for Rakasaki, and it's bullet, and it's right on the nose. Yeah. He ran the game with his passing, I thought.
Yeah, no, he did play really well. To be fair,
Campbell's got a story for me.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I mean, Hazard had the angle covered, but yeah. So, this is. Yeah, they'll obviously play the replay now, but this is the moment that just sent us absolutely wild, and a superb finish at that. Superb finish. TJ, who's come into a lot of criticism, has been out for so much of the season, and had very short stints as a substitute. Again coming into a game. Is someone eating crisps in the background?
Not me. I've had me dinner.
But this, if I rewind it back a bit, did they show it properly? Because it was Mumba that really got that. Let me just
Mumba's ball, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think Hazard has that covered though.
That was right underneath me, right?
Score that.
I don't know if you noticed, Miron, when Mumba flicks it up the pitch.
Yes, they don't show it on this one. Go on.
So Miron told him, flick it around the corner and go. And he just waits perfectly for the guy to come and jump in to try and block him. He just flicks it over his right boot and he's gone. It was a hell of a piece of skill, I have to say.
So listening to the post-match pressers, the Mumba mistouches it, controls it, I should say, to start with, which sends him wide to the touchline, and he said to me, I knew the player was coming at him, coming towards him. So all I needed to do, he said, I already thought about it in my head before I did it, is I just needed to quickly turn, flick it, to lift it over him, coming in for the tackle, and then I knew I could be away. And then as he was sprinting down here, he said he was in 2 minds of continuing to dribble with the ball, but remember that Muslich has told them that get the ball in the box as quickly and as early as possible. Which Gavin, as we know from the analysis we did at his time at Cercle Bruges, that's exactly what he likes to do. And he pit an absolute blinder, even wilder in his post-match, noted Mumba and that
his
cross.
Wrong foot, Mike, as well.
Yeah,
that's a great ball in.
If that come from Pusac, who's left-footed, it's a wand. The fact that it's his wrong foot means he's been practicing bloody hard, and he's now pretty much a 2-footed player.
Yeah, and Bali did say, being a defender himself, some might argue that he said with the defenders backtracking, to get into the box, he said he just knew if I get the ball in there right, it will potentially cause some problems, and obviously it did with the clearance, and then Tijani, calm and composed, smashing that home.
Bali Mumba came into hospitality to do his obviously his
man of the match thing, yeah.
And the first thing he said was, "Sorry, I'm late. We've just been having a punch up with Sheffield United in the tunnel." And so it was Mark Edworthy who was on the thing, not Gaz. Gaz had a week off, and he was like, "Oh, what happened there?" And he basically said, "Chris Beholder's a nutter." He said he just attacked us, and we thought, oh, sod it, we'll have a go back. But that was his opening gambit. The whole room fell about. He just didn't give a shit. It was brilliant.
I love that. He was
coming
also
back to that, though, right? We talked about this in our chat, didn't we? About the way that Raksaki celebrated his goal right in front of the Lyndhurst, right in front of us, Mike, wasn't it? And he was giving it all that to the Lyndhurst and all that.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that's inciting trouble, isn't it? You know, so Argyle fans go down to the end, at the end of the game, to the Sheffield United fans and celebrate. You know, why not? It's one.
Yeah.
Is it one rule for one for another?
But Bundu wasn't even giving it all that in front of the away fans, was he? He was just walking past.
Exactly, Carl. Exactly.
Yeah. It's just it is what it is. Emotions running high. Should Wilder absolutely get a big fine and a ban for that? Yes, because when emotions run high, a certain Adam Randall understands and knows the pain for that. I'm just going to quickly flip into some of the comments because there's a few that have come in. Like I said, Pilgrim Petey, good evening. Good to see you in. So, bit of some statistics. Music 5 wins so far this season has now come with Houghton starting. 4 wins against West Brom, Millwall, Norwich and Sheffield United. Randall and Houghton. Portsmouth win. Houghton and JB. JB looks a lot better when he comes on against a tiring midfield. That sort of was my point when I was sent a voice message to the guys this morning. And it's almost like, you know, when we're playing well, you know, because the Norwich game and then this game yesterday when Tijani and JB came on, you know, we were in the had the ascendancy. So there was a lot of momentum and JB just looked like he had the freedom to just move around and do what he needed to do. You know, and TJ obviously came on, and as Paul was just noting in the comments, Paul Dan, TJ was winning headers. He won almost every header that was played up to it. Was it 10? Was it?
5 No, 5 out of 5.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, he was just a menace, and you sort of at the end of the game, we're all thinking, Steve, wow, where's that been? But we know where he's been. He's been on his bedside trying to recover. But it was good to see him performing, and from your perspective, obviously you were watching it from work, but it's good to see him show what he can do, Steve, isn't it?
Absolutely. And he put his body about as well. And they all go about us being Route 1 in that, and both his goals have been on the deck.
Yeah. Well, from to be fair, from a superb ball that was, well, not Route 1 from the back, but was whipped right in.
Yeah.
I think as well, sort of Andy on Petey's point. You know, we discussed this on Friday's Live Lounge, didn't we, about the whole sort of Randall, JB and Houghton, and myself and a couple of other of us said I would just put Houghton in there with Randall. I couldn't drop Randall even after the sort of the game that he had on Wednesday, but it just proves that stat again, doesn't it? You know, start with Randall and Houghton, and we've won another game.
I just wonder whether Houghton's experience is actually helping Adam along a bit, because it seems to be something amiss between Rans and JB, doesn't there? You know, this, you know, Houghton brings out the best in Rans and keeps them sort of level on the, you know, on the ground, sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I'm lost for words.
That's all right. That's right.
I'm normally outspoken, and I will apologise now to Pilgrim Petey and others on X for some of my comments on this. So I do apologise for that, guys. It will not happen.
You were whipping them up, weren't you?
I was whipping them up a little bit.
Where's all the anti-happy clappers now, everybody?
I get passionate about it, Gav. You know, and I just want to support her. I want to support the team as much as I can. And when it goes right for us, yeah, I shouldn't really rub the noses in it, but you know, I did. So I apologise, guys, profoundly. Pete,
hey, look, everything is what it is with the emotions that go on. Go on.
I think Tijani's had a lot of shit, right?
A lot of shit.
Now, even admitted in this post-match press conference on Sky, I've been out for 80% of the season, right? 80%, 80, not 18, 80. I don't think he'd have been recruited if he was as bad as we've seen him. Just don't, because you can't. Yeah, it was Taribo West Mark II, isn't it? But about 4 foot on it.
Taribo.
I think that's the beginning of what we were expecting to sign. And you know, if you look, he's Cosgrove, but about 3 times better. So if we do go down, he has to be bought, doesn't he? I know it's a risk. Everyone, if we have a second Galloway on our hands, but if he stays fit for 30, 35 games, he'll score 15 goals in League One. Then he'll have a handful of assists. He's an absolute beast. And what I really liked was his first game action. He flicks the ball around the corner with his left peg and wins a foul, which was really deft, like all but Ballymumba style play of I'll flick it past you and run past, gets clattered, makes a meal of it, mind, doesn't he? Jesus Christ, I thought he was going to roll into the Devonport, block 2. But he gets that. That's his instant sort of make-up into the game. I tweeted something earlier around, I think he's off his post about he was on it from ball 1. If that's anywhere near his level and it gets better, which I think it will, he's been grossly unfit, hasn't he? I think he's a real handful, and I think we should sign him.
Yeah. Well, this is, sort of I don't disagree. I mean, it's the same with the JB, point that, I'm sort of with a few of us on here that, we should look to get JB for next season, wherever that is. My point, going back to it again, sort of when Wright came on as well, against Norwich, he did really well. We had the ascendancy, we were leading, I think we were winning then when he came on, and he got into the game and we had more opportunities. JB in that one was the one that came on with him, wasn't it, as well? And he was really good as well. So it's this whole mentality sort of side of things and the way we set up that if we are able to attack and create some chances like we did against Norwich in the first half, we did in the second half here, some of these players will then have better opportunities to do more in the game. Whereas, when we don't, like Watford, we started off and we had opportunities in the first half. Swansea, it just went Pete Tong as soon as the whistle was blown. And that's nothing to do with the game plan for me. That I've heard different views. That is all on the lack of players and 2 silly mistakes that led to the early goal and the goal that followed it. And then we did just lose it and drop, So the game plan does work when it is applied and we don't make those mistakes. Go on.
The goal output since Mirren's been here has basically been, I think, 1, maybe 2 from Obafemi. All of it's pretty much 9 of the 11 from in Miron's time has been from HARDIE. JB got one, I can't remember if he has. But if we'd had Tijani in this kind of fitness and form, right? And Bundu scored a couple as well, hasn't he, in Miron's time, actually, I think 2 or 3. If we'd had those 3 fit in this system where you could rotate them, I don't think they'd have had half the injuries. I don't think HARDIE would have been stretched as hard as he could. And I think we probably would have seen guys on 10, 14 and 8, something like that. And we'd probably be far further up the league table. Obviously, at one place above is still second from bottom. But I think we'd be up the league table more than we are now. But we've had so unlucky with injuries, especially in that top half of the field. And we've lost Sissoko and we lost that chap who didn't turn up that day and then ended up in Teesside. Fuck knows how he did that. Anyway, must have got lost. But I think the Tijani piece is really interesting for me. If he was, when he came back and got that goal against
Cardiff.
Sorry?
Cardiff
at home on the volley. If he'd stayed fit then, I think we'd have been seeing these type of performances 3-4 weeks ago. And that would have been, even if he'd had 30 minutes a game, he's an handful, isn't he?
I think we'd be at the bottom 3 because he would score more goals.
I think absolutely. It's a valid point to discuss. Those injuries. I mean, like obviously Sorinola out for the season. Katic, probably out for at least the next game or 2. Will he be back for the final 2 games? Maxi's due back. So soon as well. So that it's all vital. I mean, maybe it's not happened at the right time again, but it's going to come back together at the right time again. So, Galloway, is he actually going to make it for the end of the season? I don't think he will he? So, no. And you wouldn't use him if you did. No. Just a couple more comments before we look at the player stats. Sam, good evening, Sam. So, superb result yesterday. Having Joe Edwards back on the pitch was brilliant. Mumba looked good, especially for the second goal. HARDIE with another return. Surely an extended contract is a priority. I'll be amazed if that isn't still going on. So, just to scroll down, Ben's in tonight. Evening, Ben. So quick shout out to you. Martin Ingham again posting when TJ first came. Sorry, say again.
I can't mention Martin Ingham because he told me not to mention him.
All right. When TJ first came back from injury, he looked like he was carrying a bit of weight. But yes, he was sharp, quick and direct. He needs to start the next game. Yeah, that's a really good shout. I think him, Bundu and Hardie up front would be a really good one. Pilgrim Petey, again, not shocked about Mumba pitting a decent ball in. Did exactly the same for the goal from Andre Gray against Preston. And what else have we got? I'll read out a few more. Ninja Matt, literally can't wait for Tunnel Cam tomorrow. I love the dugout camera as well. Those clips are just brilliant. Graham, I know Graham has sort of said a few times that, it's all done and over a few games ago. Certainly isn't now, is it, Graham? Or are you still not really on that side yet of the fence? But Sheffield's automatic promotion, he said, is in serious doubt now. Yes, and good riddance to them with that. So, Sarah, can't really judge TJ. I feel he's been injured most of the time. I know, and we really do have to not get carried away with one performance, but it's good to see what a positive team and a player can do around the squad and getting that vital winner. JB looked a completely different, but he meant Tijani in that comment. So Petey, as he corrected himself after posting it. But again, JB again, like all of them on Wednesday, looked awful. And besides, in the first half, Callum Wright, I will admit, I sort of stick by him, but wasn't the best. But he didn't really have the best balls to play with. So let's bring up the player stats on FOTMob. So we obviously, it was 4 changes, wasn't it, if I've got that correct? Ogbeta came in with Soranola out for the season. Paulson in for Katic. Wright replacing Obafemi. Houghton for JB. And obviously the controversial one is Edwards not starting. So, Gavin, I'll come to you on this one because obviously put it in the chat and we were talking about it separately as well. The presser says a lot for everybody that felt that Edwards should have started and it was absolutely wrong for Music, and look at the difference it made when he came on. Do you want to give your view on how you saw it before the presser came out and Music gave his response to it?
It's amazing. I said to my brother before the game, and he was like, "Where's Edwards?" And I said, "Well, look, if we're going to finish strong, if Edwards starts, he'll be cooked on 55, 60 minutes. So we're then bringing Ogbeta on to change the game. Can't say he didn't do that because he scored the late equaliser at Sunderland. However, if you wanted to lift the crowd and get a team going, are you bringing Ogbeta on 60 minutes, 55 minutes, or are you bringing, as it turned out to be half time, Edwards on a half time? So that's what I said before the game. I was a little bit smug afterwards. We come in at half time, and I was like, "There you go. There's a substitution we probably required." I actually thought Ogbeta had a knock. I didn't think he was going to do it that early. But I also, just on the psychological thing, I know Dan Scar's already put his head above the parapet and said, "Fucking start picking the players who give a shit," from his tweet this morning, which did make me giggle. Clearly looking after his mate. I think he said in the presser afterwards, Edwards is livid that he wasn't selected. Is he playing, to quote a Trumpism tweet, 4D, 5D chess here by saying, no, I'm going to get you wound up and I'm going to let you go at half time? And I thought it was a masterstroke, I have to say. I thought he meant it before the game. The presser, for me, gave me the validity that he did mean it. And that's now given him the momentum. We get 70 minutes out of him on Friday. I don't know if he'll be able to start 2 games in 4 days, because that's what happened last time when he had his injury. I think Rooney pressed him into the ground. But what I thought a masterstroke of team management, and to use Meron's term, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to keep the players engaged, not to be liked.
Yeah.
If you can't say that Edward wasn't engaged when he came on, he's proved the point. He's done his bit as the head coach. But now, I think he even said after the presser, he's nailed on for the next game. If he can give 65, 70 minutes at that intensity, we've all but got the old band back together, haven't we? Apart from Scar coming down and sticking a Katic shirt on and shaving his head and getting it by default. We have that running team from last year where our dearly departed director of football at Nantes took us over the edge and then back again.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think for me, well, Andy, give your view on the Edwards situation.
Yeah, I think again it's the right move for me. I don't think Joe would have lasted 90. I certainly don't think he would have done well starting. Coming on the second half, the first thing he did was to lift the crowd and to get the crowd going, because he knew the importance of this game to us. He knew we had to get something out of the game, so he G'd the fans up, and that's the first thing he did.
Yeah.
And then you see him in the box providing a goal for HARDIE. So he's putting himself about, and he's sort of going in for challenges that and standing up to players. And I thought he was going to get thumped in one instance against one player. And he went right up against him.
Well, don't forget the corner with the Cooper incident and the defender.
Yeah, it got right in his face. And I thought, oh, crumbs, you know he's a battler. You know he's going to give you 100%, 110%. So
he's going to have intimidated Coops as well, because he's been his skipper since he was about 5 and in short trousers. So having him right in your face in the first minute he's on, I thought was a masterstroke.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And we needed Joe out there. I think if Joe Edwards is like 3 or 4 years younger and he comes on in that game, then and you're playing the following week, then we've got a great player there, haven't we? And we still have got a great player there. I just don't think he'll last anything longer than sort of half an hour now. Probably.
No, and that's where, like Steve, that's where the killer is, isn't it? In terms of, obviously Music in his presser has clearly stated that he will start, on Friday against Middlesbrough, and if we can start that game well, then obviously, Edwards can have that big impact. Whether he'll last the whole 90 minutes will be another thing altogether. If we start poorly and then it's almost like, well, would he have been better to be used as a sub? But I think almost after that reaction, you cannot not use him, Steve, can you now?
You can't. You definitely need to use him. I was up in orange at the start, but what he done, it was a masterstroke. It was, and he'll probably give about 65, 70 minutes, I reckon. He'll be on the pitch for on Friday, but then I don't think he'll start the game on Monday.
No, he's probably not going to last for that.
Don't forget who's in the opposition. Azaz, he was a skipper.
Yeah, true.
Potentially Whittaker, he was a skipper. If there's no one in that squad who can get under both those boys' skins, it's Edwards, because he's the master at it. So I think starting him next week on Friday is probably more important to get into the heads of those players if they do both start, than it is to bring them on and be strong late. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no,
Great.
I think just sort of coming to you, Carl. I know obviously you said, Petey's just put in the comments, don't get me wrong, Sorinola has played well, but Joe Edwards gives us that extra going forward and getting on the end of balls in the box. They are two very different players. You said in response to that thread that Scar commented on about, can you really drop Sorinola with how well he's played? And that is the sort of challenge. The two instances in the game, amongst the few with Edwards when he came on that stood out, is the ball over to Bundu that led to, and that wasn't an easy flick on. We just saw again in the highlights for him to run forward that led to what should have been the penalty, but led to the corner for the first goal. And obviously the sort of flick on, bicycle style, whatever you call it, flick on that led to HARDIE tucking it past Cooper. Two massive, and that's not the sort of thing Sorinola does. No. And so there's two contrasting differences in the two players. Clearly, Sorinola has been brilliant, but Edwards has got that extra.
It's a difficult one because Sorinola's been brilliant the last few months. The energy he gives us. I would probably say he's better defensively than Joe is. Even going down with cramps, breaking up play, the little clever things he does, which benefits us sometimes. But I think the argument is, why hasn't Music used Joe off the bench the last 4 or 5 games? Not even for 5 or 10 minutes, just to build his fitness up a bit more. I feel like in some games he could have come off the bench for the last 15 or 20 minutes to get to the point of maybe yesterday starting. But obviously in hindsight,
especially against Swansea.
Yeah.
Especially against Swansea, you could have.
Especially against Swansea, that's what I mean. So
the game was done, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think the argument there is, why hasn't he used him the past few games to build up his fitness to use him earlier, and potentially we could have used that to our strength against Swansea potentially. But obviously in hindsight, it was a masterstroke decision. Obviously, I agree he would have probably finished the game a lot better than Ogbeta would have done. That's correct. But going forward, he has to start every single game now.
I'm actually trying to think, Mike. I'm trying to think of the player that Muslich peed off because he wouldn't select him, and he actually came on and made a big difference. And that's the sort of thing that Muslich does, isn't it? He did the same with Joe Edwards yesterday.
Probably Houghton's another one, isn't he?
Yeah, Houghton's another one. But there are several instances this season where Muslich deliberately hasn't put personnel just to peed him off, and he said, "I think
Hardie's another one.
Was it Sissoko? It might have been Sissoko early on or something like that. I can't remember.
Hardie.
Well, Sissoko went before, obviously. Muslich
Oh, right, yeah.
joined
So,
him.
sorry. Yeah, Hardie.
I think it's a valid. I mean, maybe Muslich, is playing, mind games with some of the players to try and see who then does want to, as Scar put it in his post, give it to those that want to fight for it, and that is what it is, and it's good for Edwards. It was great for the crowd, and I don't want to discredit whatever might have been also said by Muslich in the dressing room at halftime. We were in the game, and it was just a great bit of quality, as we alluded to and discussed earlier, that led to them going 1-up. But you didn't go into the half hour thinking, "Oh, let's go home and we're going to collapse now," and because we were in the game still, which was great to see. In terms of the FOTMob stats that we can see here. Hardie, this surprised me, came out as their star man of the match, scoring a massive 8. Was quiet in the first half, really, Gavin, wasn't he? Because same as Bundu, because there wasn't really anything going forward to them. There's a few long balls, but didn't muster too much. So, are you surprised to see him with the man of the match rating?
Yeah, I thought actually the front three first half were excellent, leading the line of defence.
Yeah.
They did a lot of good work without the ball. And the amount of times that Cooper received the ball at his feet, because they had to go backwards because there was a 3 tripod sort of wolf pack type press that was really impressive. But was he an 8 where someone like Mumba or Paulson or Pleguezuelo, I'd struggle there.
Play it for me, mate.
I think he got the goal, didn't he? That was the problem, because he got the goal. That's giving him, I don't know, another half a point or whatever it is. And he took the goal really, really well. If he had scored the first one, which hit the crossbar, probably justified 8 then, because I think that would have been a really good strike. But he didn't have a bad game, let's be candid. But I think probably 2 or 3 players on the pitch that would have picked him.
Yeah, I think, and speaking of that sort of back line, I think the thing that impressed me, hang on a minute, I'm just trying to make
5.7 for Coops?
Yeah, it is, yeah. So we'll come to that. Let me just move us down the bottom here so we can try and make that a bit more visible for those that are watching. If you're listening, I'll read them out. Starting with Hazard in the back, 7.5. Again, a few good saves. I felt with Hazard, he was more commanding in his box as well when the crosses and corners, certainly from the set-piece corners came in. Some good punches going on there. He's been a little bit ridiculed for that at times, for commanding his box. But I will say it now. At this moment in time, he is my number 1 candidate for player of the season, Hazard, and deserves
even over
far more
Pleggy,
credit than
Mike.
people get. Say again?
I hope George is not listening tonight.
Yeah, even in Georgia and Peggy. No, but it's going to be an interesting one when we come round to seeing who gets announced by the club and the fans, and what we come up with. And going back to those back 3, Carl, the sort of, when we say about leaders and having not just relying on Edwards, I think for me, Randall hasn't got that quite right yet on the pitch. Houghton, when he gets the armband, doesn't either, which is why Katic has had it when he's been on. But Paulson and Pleggy, it just was so immense yesterday, but are 2 brilliant leaders on the pitch as well.
Yeah, Paulson, with his experience and his international experience, has got that in abundance. I think he's always been a leader, even under Rooney. I know he was poor, but he was always trying to organise. He was always mouthy for players, trying to organise the defence and geeing up the fans and the players when they make mistakes. And yeah, he's, especially under Muslich, he's improved massively. And I'd love to keep him again next season. Even in this league, I think he would be an asset, a definite decent squad player too.
Carl, did he sign a 2-year deal, or was it just 1?
I think it was
good
one,
question. I'm not sure. And same for Pleggy.
What
I like about Paulson is it's not the for show, let's all pump our arms and wave our fists and get the crowd going. he does lots of really small conversations with people while he's on the pitch.
Yeah,
Just to
yeah,
get
he does.
their ear and just say, like a couple of the injury times yesterday, obviously when someone's leg fell off for Sheffield United, reattached. He was over just having whispers in Bally's ear, whispers in Suchi's ear, just talking to Randall, just small bits of information that he's picked up from his experience.
Yeah.
And it's not beating his chest. It's not giving it the big one. He's just a natural leader, and he doesn't do it for show. I think he does it because he genuinely wants to get the best of the players around him. I always remember the goal against Sunderland where Hardie broke his duck, or didn't, depending on which way you look at it. He grabbed everyone around him and started pointing at Hardie to say he's broke his duck, and gave him the focal point at that moment, which I thought was outstanding leadership and have real EQ as well.
Yeah,
most importantly, he's actually playing in his favoured position in the centre. I think on the right side, he was exposed a lot under Rooney, wasn't he? And that's when he really struggled.
Yeah,
centrally, brilliant.
He's just, I mean, since Rooney left, and the times when Poulsen has got into the squad, he's just a different player, and it's
like another Scar, really, for me.
Yeah, but he did comment on, didn't he? That no one's seen the best of me yet, and he was equally getting, I think, frustrated with the criticism, that and valid at the time, but absolutely full credit to him. But I know Pleggy got the Sheffield United Player of the Match. He got 7.5, Poulsen 7.6, they were and 6.8, I think that is there. But yeah, it was just great to watch, fully committed and wanted to absolutely shut that door from Sheffield United getting through.
As well, isn't it? We got no Maxi.
And no Katic. Yeah.
Right? The two guys that were our saviours, I'm not saying they're not, but if you took those two guys out, if we'd said this, it was, say, mid-February, there'd have been people crying into their cornflakes, going, oh my God, that back line's so shit. Because of the way that back unit has gelled and all worked hard together, they're all interplaceable now. And I saw a few tweets earlier saying Poulsen's better than Katic. So it just goes to show the rich depth we have, which is what normal, proper championship teams have. If we had that depth in all areas across the pitch, we'd be sitting 10th, 12th, 15th, not 24th.
No, exactly. Pete, he's just said Poulsen definitely looks better in the middle of the back three. Yesterday, he was the only player winning headers from our long throws until TJ comes on. Brilliant observation, Petey. I think that's why I wasn't overly panicked, knowing that Katic had gone out. I didn't want to see him go. He's literally, for a lone player, has committed himself massively to this cause. But I just felt seeing Poulsen in the games when he's come on in the past few months, I thought he will do a job and did that and some. The midfield, Andy, then obviously Ogbeta, as we discussed earlier, starting, Houghton and Randall as well, that partnership where we haven't sort of lost a game really with them, and then obviously Mumba, who got the overall man of the match at the game. So fairly innocuous in terms of weren't brilliant, but still did a job in parts, didn't they? In most.
Yeah, definitely did a job. Ogbeta did well. People are slating Ogbeta in my other sort of group that I chat about, but I think he actually did quite well. Apart from the first goal yesterday, he was okay, and I thought Mumba was excellent yesterday. I normally slate Mumba. I'll be the first one to put my hand up to that, but he had a great game yesterday. Bally, he was back and forward like a fiddler's elbow. Houghton and Rounds in the middle, good team together in the middle. They know each other's game. I think that stems from the League One success. Houghton developing Randall back then, and it is like having a mentor beside you, isn't it? Showing you the ropes, and Houghton is good at that.
They've just lost once this season since they started, and that was
it's a good stat. Yeah, it's a good stat.
Yeah, it's definitely. And Mumba obviously starting on the right, finishing on the left, and obviously putting that great ball in. So yeah, it's good to see. You just got to let him. obviously try not to worry too much about backing track and defending. Obviously, he got caught out by Rakzaki as well, but luckily enough,
It wasn't.
stood
It wasn't
stood
caught
up
out
to
by
that
him. He's
one.
got pace.
Yeah, and he was great in his press. I love the fact he had a New York hat on, which is not on brand at all. Sat there in that interview room. I thought that was brilliant. To
He needs a
hear
Block
that
9
from him.
podcast cap, doesn't he, Mike? Clearly.
Clearly, yeah. Once you sort them out, Andy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, then going obviously to Hardie, Wright, and Bundu, and I think sort of really. Yeah, like I said earlier, Wright, it wasn't his best game, but he didn't really have those opportunities. I think if he'd have come on like, JB or whatever in the second half, I think he would have been fine with that style of play. But yeah, in terms of sort of that next lineup, with TJ showing what he could do, I mean, Carl, this could be exciting for Middlesbrough if we go with the same sort of front three.
Yeah, the way we ended the game has to be the starting lineup on Friday. Obviously, better out for Edwards and Wright for TJ. Obviously, TJ in the middle, Bundu out wide. But yeah, that's the lineup we have to go for the foreseeable. I think for the last 4 games, that's our strongest team at the moment, and the best chance we've got of trying to stay up. I just hope he doesn't go back to JB on Friday. JB and Randall. Just got a funny feeling he's going to go back to it again. I don't know why.
He always seems to go to JB and Randall when we go away from home.
Yeah,
he might be watching this podcast and he might well be saying, "Well, those boys are right in what they're saying."
Well, if we're a data-driven club, haven't they looked at the stats of those two together and realised, hang on, it's not going to work?
Yeah,
I know this. I was saying this to actually Ray, who sits Andy's friend that sits next to us, and that's the thing, isn't it? If we are a data-driven club, and Jusenit was critical, I believe, from a comment about that as well in his interview. But yeah, it's there. But I mean, Gavin, it's that I'm quite excited to see that against Middlesbrough and see Tijani start and Edwards start.
I'll disagree.
Cool. Not Ben Wayne.
bearing in mind, Gav, that I got 10 out of 11 right for this last.
Well done. I actually think, just on the way that Middlesbrough set up, which is 4-2-3-1, I think he will play Obafemi in the right hand side to start with and bring TJ back on. Is my guess. All right, but I thought I have to disagree. I thought Wright was headless chicken yesterday.
Yeah, most games. Yeah.
There was because like sometimes when he gets hold of the ball, he actually can do something with it.
Yeah,
he has some good telling forward passes. Obviously, his work rate's phenomenal, right? And
we can't question that. No,
he runs for 2 people.
Yeah.
He runs as well as Hardie on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've used this analogy before. Best foundation builder in the game. He'll take you for dinner, walks in the park, picnics, get you home, and then as you invite him in for a knees up and a bit of a leg trembler, he'll say, "I'm off."
Leg trembler.
He won't put the ball in the back of the net, right? That's unfortunately Callum Wright. It is what it is. He hasn't scored now for nearly 60 games.
Yeah.
That is what it is. I think, and the reason why I say Obafemi is because I think he's got that bit of class away, and I don't think TJ's ready yet to start a game. I think if TJ had started 4 or 5 in recent times, fine, but his legs are made of warm margarine, guys. Right at the moment,
maybe 45 minutes.
Right, so therefore he either needs to spend a bit of time in the freezer before he comes on, right, to harden them up. My fear is we start him, he overstretches, does his hamstring after 10 minutes. We don't see him again. I think you've got to build his minutes up, a la our illustrious leader, Jobo.
I think. Do you know what? I think just sort of listening to that, I think it's a great point to raise, because I go back to the getting carried away, comment I made 10, 15 minutes ago after we spoke all positively about TJ. And there is that danger again, isn't there, of, sort of going, right, let's get him in. And suddenly if the game isn't going our way and we spend 45 minutes of being under the cosh, hopefully not, touch wood, conceding, but, really take on the pressure and we're struggling, then you're almost going to lose.
Be a game changer.
yeah, maybe we'll lose the effectiveness of him, and while we want him like Edwards to get back into, more match fitness sort of level for 90 minutes, then actually, do you know what? That could well be it. It could well be that he'll bring him on the second half again and see how the game is panning out, because if he does use Obafemi, Bundu and Hardie, and my point at the start, of if we're playing well, every player clearly tends to play well. So it's that could be what
you have to weigh up the risk though between injury or being dead and buried early on. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult.
I don't think having Tijani on the pitch is going to stop us conceding a goal. I actually think if you had a Wright or a Obafemi, their defensive shape and their work rate is much better than Tijani through the middle. Yesterday, I didn't think his defensive work was great, but that's not what he was on the field for. He was on the field to win balls up top and get them down. He won 5 out of 5, tick. He was there to create a big, or to finish a big chance, which he did, tick. And actually, I thought all the stuff he did on top of that, winning the free kick early, getting himself put about a bit, blah, 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 was brilliant. But if you look at the defensive tip, and we've had this conversation those times, me and Michael was arguing about this with Bundu, he's a lazy bastard, Bundu. No, he's at the tip of the spear. So when they go forward, he doesn't do as much running, blah, blah, blah. If you've got the two faster guys either side, I actually think with Bundu up top, they're the best 3 athletes we have in that front section. If we can get to half time, 55, 60 minutes in, either 1-1 or 0-0, that's when you bring Tijani on. The centre halves are tiring. They've had a tough session against Bundu, and then you go and put them to the sword. Just my observation. Otherwise, I think he might not be as dynamic, whatever the word is, playing a whole game. I think that intensity of 30, 40 minutes would be perfect.
I think Ninja Matt sums that up quite well, actually, with his comment I've just put on the screen. So, and absolutely, Miron gets criticised for his substitutions and timings of it. Obviously, they were spot on yesterday. Matt says, we seem to be better suited to soaking up pressure early and being more attacking later in the game. That's why our subs are so important. Keep some weapons on the bench, in my opinion. So, I think that it creates a good debate, this one with Tijani, and I think that is a brilliant point to add on to Gavin's. I want to see him, but actually, do you know what? Yes, it all depends on how we soak up that pressure. And I've got the stats of the game from Saturday on. No surprise, another sort of 70-30 in terms of overall possession. It doesn't change too much either, with the first half, 29-71. And in the second half, 31-69. So, I think that's how we start. Generally, we're always waiting to have that break, that chance to break away. We got it with Bundu, who was brought down for the penalty, that long ball up to him. That's just, if we can get that early goal, we keep saying, and everybody says it, how important that is in any game. But for us, it seems to be crucial. Wednesday, and we said this on Friday's Live Lounge, you have to just write that off, because it's just, you're not expecting to play that badly every game. But certainly coming into Middlesbrough on Friday, Good Friday with everybody else playing, 2 games very close in quick succession, there's a chance for us, if we go in there right, to suddenly be out of that zone after Monday, if we can get 2 back-to-back wins.
I think that's why you start, Tijani. Just go in all in early on and try and get the lead and build on that, not sit back and risk conceding and then trying to change the game, because the game changes don't always change the game. We've seen that enough times this season. Yesterday it worked really, really well, but there's been a few home games of late where the game changes haven't changed the game. That's my worry, that it might just not work.
No, I know. Yeah, I think it'll be certainly interesting. I think, like I said, it brings good debate. The biggest thing above all else is we cannot stand and have simple individual errors like we did against Swansea, which absolutely just killed us off. From Barley's free kick straight to a Swansea player to, Randall's, sort of losing the ball, and then obviously the header back and giving away the free kick. Those sort of things we absolutely have to park. And Mumba saying, in the presser about those, and as well as Muslich, we know what we've got to do going forward. We know not what to do. That I'm glad they almost caught that game at Swansea. And Andy, actually, when you think about it, the two games, Swansea and Sheffield United, you would have gone, well, probably a chance to get 3 points away to Swansea if we play as well as we did against Watford. Not likely to beat and get any point against Sheffield United, and actually we got all 3. So football's a funny old game, eh?
It is a funny old game, Saint. Yeah, funny old game. Yeah, it is very funny. We could have got something at Swansea, given if we got the early goal, but Swansea got the early goal. Our heads dropped, the fans got on their side. It happens, Sheffield United is different gravy. That's we went at them early on, Sheffield United, and it was quite even game until sort of 44th minute where they score. That's football, isn't it? I said in the live the other night that we were going to win 2-0. I was 1 out, so I still believe that we're going to do something. We're still going to stay up.
Yeah, I think Paul Dan's comment is very pertinent, which is why none of us, I think, will disagree with starting Edwards. But Joe Edwards will keep them grounded for the job that they have to do to survive. Absolutely. And even if that means us being a little bit more cautious, to make sure we don't make those silly mistakes and get a rush of blood to the head. If we can score early, absolutely off of the back of an attack, then bonus. Gavin, sort of looking at the games ahead, I'm just gonna, sort of bring. Obviously, it's Middlesbrough for us on Friday. Just looking at what the other teams have in this sort of crucial run into the end. So I've got Cardiff's fixtures up there for now. They've got Sheffield. They're away to Sheffield United on Friday. Then they play Oxford. I mean, the Sheffield United. Can you see them losing 4 in a row, Gav?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they go 1-0 down, because I think their heads are scrambled. Can I make 1 point on Middlesbrough?
Yeah, go
on?
Yeah, go on.
They're fifth in the possession stats again. They've got just shy of 56% possession average per game, and they've got about 440 passes a game, something along those lines. Let me just get it up. 443 accurate passes a game. They're very similar to a lot of the sides that we like to play against. We will give them the ball. I think where we've struggled, Derby or perfectly Luton, when both teams are expecting to get less than 40% of the ball, what happens to the other 20? And then you all go to shit. The fact that how we play, and just the other point as well, if he goes Azaz and Whittaker in that sort of 4-3-2-1, 4-2-3-1, both those guys love cutting back inside. Teams like Norwich, who played into our congested diamond sort of in front of the back three midfield, haven't got much joy out of trying to come back inside. Whereas Swansea, I thought, did brilliantly, as they went, no, we're going to attack really quickly down the width.
Yeah, press hard. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we gave them the width, but we couldn't get across quickly enough to clamp that down. If he does play Whittaker and Azaz, I think he'd play them both because they're both playing against both ex-players. If they're looking to come back inside every time, that's going to help, I think, with Houghton and Randall, or JB and Randall, or Randall and Boateng, or whoever he picks, to congest that area. Yes, Whittaker's going to come back in because he wants a 35-yard rocket at the top locker, doesn't he? To say, there you go, Miron. Don't tell Fibbies about me, even though it wasn't true. I think that's going to help us. And I think, they're on a run of 2 losses on the bounce. I know one was home at Leeds, away at Millwall. I think we have to compact that midfield, give them the wide channels, knowing that both their 10s who are meant to be the wide players are going to cut back inside. Just my little 2-minute session of tactics.
It's really, really good. And I wanted just to spin through the games that are left and come and end with the Middlesbrough one, but brilliantly put though and observed. That's all right. Don't worry. Still really good. As obviously Pilgrim Petey's picked Derby and Luton in the comments I just put up there. Yeah, we'll come to that one. But looking at it, Sheffield United, of course, they can lose 4 in a row, but you got to think that
not at home to Cardiff, you expect them to go out and put.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough one for Cardiff, isn't it? Then they've got Oxford at home, which Oxford have obviously done really well recently. They also beat, obviously, Sheffield United midweek. So they're sort of have almost definitely secured their place now. Fair play to them. Obviously, change of manager at the right time again. Then they obviously got West Brom at home, so 2 back-to-back home games. And then they go away to Norwich, which, depending on where Norwich are in that fight for the playoffs, could be really testing.
Cardiff have won the fewest amount of games of any team in the Championship since your man, the new manager, got made permanent.
Right, okay, wow. That's always funny, that, isn't it?
I know Cardiff are 4 games without a win as well.
Yeah. Because
when he was caretaker, which was against us, and they won up to 5-0, right? He was on an absolute run. I think he won 6-7 games out of 14, and they gave him the permanent position. And since then, they've won the fewest amount of games of all teams in the Championship.
It's just funny, isn't it, how it comes about like that? I mean, Hull City, which we go to now. Oh, stop scrolling and making you all dizzy. So they've got obviously Coventry tomorrow, Monday Night Football. So that's going to be an interesting one. They are at home to Coventry. Hull is still. I mean, they've had some good wins in recent weeks that have got them up there a bit, but they are still in that danger zone. They then go away to Swansea, who are on incredible run of form, and played superb against us on Wednesday. Then they go home to Preston, home to Derby, so back-to-back home games before they are away to Portsmouth. Again, Portsmouth, who are still sort of in and around it. I didn't pick too many teams up, just the ones that are likely to be in or amongst it. Derby, obviously, after beating us after that international break and getting a win, coming back, have started a little bit, but they've got Luton, as alluded to just now, as Pilgrim Petey Pit on Friday. God, what a massive! Well, here we go, Andy. What do you want from that game?
Which one? From Derby Luton?
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I'd go for a Derby. Well, a Derby win or a 0-0 draw.
You can't have a Derby win because that would be.
Well,
No,
you don't have a Luton win either. I'd say 0-0 draw then, or 1-0 draw. Any sort of draw there. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, saying the same, Carl. 0-0.
No, I'm going for a Luton win because then it compacts us even more.
Yeah.
43 for Luton, 43 for Derby.
Yeah, there
Or
you
draw.
go. Yeah,
You certainly don't want Derby to win.
No, that's sort of that game yesterday.
Do you not think they're safe though, Derby at the minute? I think they're pretty much safe, aren't they?
No, I'll show you the league in a
43
minute.
points.
They're
Bring
not.
the table up, Mike.
Yeah, I'll bring it up in a minute. Derby aren't safe, which I don't disagree with Carl. Compacting it to keep them all within it will definitely make it interesting. After they've got Luton, they go then to away to West Brom. Then they're away to Hull again. We brought these up a few weeks ago on the live lounge to just show how the teams around us have got some interesting matches against each other. And then the final game of the season is against Stoke. So Stoke will probably switch off if they're safe and secure.
I don't think Stoke will be safe either.
Well, possibly not, but they just seem to just keep edging away, don't they?
Stoke are on 47 points now.
Yeah, so they're in a better position, which is why I've not brought them up individually. And then the last one, obviously Luton. We have got obviously the Derby Luton game. Then they are at home to Bristol City. Home. Sorry,
Bristol City are in the playoffs at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah. Home to good point, Andy. Home to Coventry. So back-to-back home games.
Playoff team.
And then they're away to West Brom.
Hard running.
I think they're down.
They've probably got, for hungry sides, the hardest running, apart from us.
Yeah, so I think this is why, we were sort of dead and buried, and then we're up again, and then we're down again. I get up again and down again. But these opposite teams do have some tough fixtures. Not to say that ours isn't. I'll bring it up in a second, but yeah, you can see the table here. I mean, you Portsmouth are still sort of teetering a bit like Stoke, but they're almost getting away with it now, and obviously our goal difference is going to matter. So it is going to be down to probably these last two places here.
No, I still believe it's going to be 21st is the only position we can catch. I think Hull will end up probably winning midweek, to be honest. I think it's a 21st between 4 teams.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Let's see how they get on tomorrow night. That's for sure. And then obviously, as we were saying about the playoff teams, that are in with that shout, you got Sheffield United in there, Sunderland, Bristol City, Coventry currently, West Brom are outside by a couple of points, Middlesbrough the same, which is what won't make Friday easy, but equally nerve-wracking for them because there's that chance still there. Millwall on 60 points as well. Sort of Norwich are really out of it now, I suppose, aren't they? Swansea.
I think Coventry want to consolidate their playoff place, won't they? Or get even further into the playoffs by beating Hull tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's
It's
gonna be
the overachievers of this year. Two sides stick out for me like a sore thumb: Millwall and Bristol City.
Yeah,
They have had absolutely outstanding since Christmas.
Yeah.
Millwall last year were they're always 18th, 19th, 17th, something like that. For them to be 9th and Bristol City to be 5th is staggering.
Yeah.
Be great to see City in the Premier League, though, wouldn't it? Or even Millwall. That'll be a laugh.
Down to the den. Oh,
yeah.
Welcome to the den.
It's just, I want to have a look at Pilgrim Pete has just said about Stokes running. Stokes will have to play Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds, Sheffield United, and Derby. I'm just going to see what Portsmouth have too in their remaining fixtures. Away to Norwich, home to Watford, away to Sheffield Wednesday, and home to Hull, as we alluded to under Hull's piece earlier. So it's definitely interesting. Let's just remind everybody, where are we going? Oh yeah, I've got to look to the bottom of the table, haven't I? Of where
even Portsmouth's away record, they're 23rd now.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So obviously we got Middlesbrough on Friday, followed by Coventry on Monday. So 2 playoff contenders, as we just highlighted, and then it's away to Preston, who are not really gaining for much, but I'm sure they'll be motivated to try and put a dent in our survival hopes. And I really do not hope it gets to this game.
Well, on that, Mike, how many points do you think we're going to need out of the last 4? 12, 9, 7?
No.
Yeah.
To have a chance, it's
8 or 9.
Yeah, at least 3 wins, at least.
I think if we win the next 3, I'm saying this out loud. What am I doing? Get out of yourself, you twat.
Yeah, come on, Gavin.
Gavin, believe.
Oh dear, I want a Swedish nymphomaniac au pair, but I ain't getting one of them either. If we win the next 3, Jesus. I think I don't think the game will matter, but we need to. If we win the next 3, I think we'll get ourselves out of it.
Yeah, well, if we to be fair,
we're down anyway, so shush.
Yeah,
we're not down. Yeah, have a word.
It's all going to be the thing for Leeds. It won't probably by then be so much about getting automatic. It'll be getting the title.
Look like Sean.
Brilliant. You gotta love the kid. Sophie left me ages ago. She normally does disappear. So yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be just a funny one if sort of Leeds celebrate getting the title and we also stay up because we beat them, but they still managed to win the title on Friday on the final game. That could be a celebration and a half.
If they win the title before that, Mike, they might just take the foot off the gas and think, right, we're on holiday now. We're on the beach.
Well, they'll certainly, I think, hopefully they'll be, if they do win it before they play us, they'll be recovering from a major piss up and be hungover to not really be able to put a shift in. Graham Byrne saying our last 4 games look the toughest. I think he's not wrong, but we tend to play. Yeah. That's the angle that I'm coming at. Yeah, is we tend to have better opportunities and better chances and play better against those better sides. And I think based on how we've done against the teams around us, over the last 2 months, I'm sort of glad that we're not in that fight at the bottom, because I think our confidence, against equally poor teams is just not very good. So that's how I look at it. As Carl gets embarrassed by his daughter. Hi, Sophia. So in terms of, obviously, as Gavin brilliantly put the sort of assessment of the game against Middlesbrough, and again, how will that sort of make him decide on what he does and doesn't do in the lineup? But yeah, I mean, Andy, what are you thinking going into Middlesbrough? Score prediction, etc.
Man, put me on the spot again. Do you know what I did last time? I said we were going to go and beat Swansea and got totally Shut that.
Okay. Sit there.
We've got a chance to go up there and win. I still believe that we've got a
Yeah,
chance
sit
to
down.
stay up. So I think we're going to, Gav, listen to this. We're going to go up and we're going to win. All right? 2-1.
Yeah. Go on, Gavin. I'll go to you next then.
Believe.
Now,
It's hot.
the head
Daddy,
Says-
can I go?
will lose 2-0, right? The heart says if we can go to Middlesbrough as we did last year, right, under Ian Foster and win 3-1, right, we can go up and win 3-1 again.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
It could have been the bench voodoo.
Yes. I must admit, he got subbed on 66 minutes and actually had a FOTMOB rating that wouldn't have been too out of place in Argyle's player rating on Wednesday night.
6 is not football me on Saturday.
Yeah, it was really it was 5.6 or something. It was really poor. Yeah, he's clearly not working. And I'm not even going to say it to jinx it. So sorry, Gavin. What did you say your score prediction was? 3-1.
So head says 2-0 loss, heart says 3-1 win, and I'm just tossing between the two at the minute. Come back to me.
Yeah, okay. Carl, I'll put you on mute. I'll take you off again. But yeah, go on. What are you thinking? And Sophia, well, more importantly, Sophia, how do you think Plymouth Argyle are going to do against Middlesbrough? What do you think the score will be? You go to enough of the home games.
Do you think we're going to win or lose?
When?
We're going to win. How many goals? 10. 10-0 Argyle. You heard it here first. Put your bets on now, lads.
£1.
But no, I'm going to go. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Argyle.
Yeah, cool. Guys, put your comments on the scores, guys and girls, in the chat, and we'll read them out.
And a
Steve.
Morgan Whittaker red card.
Oh, yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Go on, Steve.
Well, I think the key to the game is we stop Azaz, we stop Borough.
Yeah, I think Graham
And-
is just pointing that out. Azaz is the danger man.
And I'm going for the same as last season, a 2-0 win.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with my score prediction against Swansea, where I sort of was hoping for us to go out and get a 1-0 hard-fought victory. Well, actually, no, that was my scoreline for yesterday. I can't remember what I predicted for Swansea, but I think that could apply to this game, knowing that it is away to Middlesbrough. They are chasing the playoffs. I think as long as we can just, keep that first guy out, even when we can, concede, it's as long as it's not early in the game. If we're having good spells in the game, then it's not as bad. But yeah, as long as we keep the goal out. So Gavin, have you fully digested and thought through now what you're actually going to predict and stick with? Still thinking.
2-0 loss.
Oh, fair enough.
Party pooper.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be wrong.
Yeah.
So happy, but I can't see past it. The team needs to keep that C word I've been talking about for months, and not that one in the private chat, the one they'll say on here. Consistency. It's going to be difficult. But with Jobo back in the side, I'm talking my way around again now. If Jobo starts, there will be none of this falling apart like a sandcastle at high tide. That's for sure. Oh, bollocks. No, we'll win 2-1. There you go.
So I'm looking at Middlesbrough's last 5 games. Their form is where are they to? Drawn, win, loss. So it's, could we make that 3 losses as well for Middlesbrough as we did Sheffield United?
They're bottling it.
It could well happen. I'm just checking my notes for any other bits. Obviously, we touched upon the press conference throughout the show. Martin Ingham has just said in the comments as well, we must be able to beat Middlesbrough if we scored 3 against them under Rooney. I'm predicting though a draw 1-1. Look, I think
That would be disaster, yeah.
yeah.
What we do need to do next season is a prediction league. That's one thing we need to do.
Yeah, could do a Block 9 fantasy football. Don't forget to go and check out the website. Thanks, Carl, for the reminder. Block9.co.uk, and you can check out our game and see other bits and pieces that we're doing on there. I think, look, this week has certainly been that emotional roller coaster that is supporting Plymouth Argyle. And I think, like yesterday, I felt so exhausted in the evening because it was just like doing it to us again. You've given us a hope that survival is on. I've always said it every show. While there's still a glimmer of hope, there is something in it. But it's for us to just do our job, and the others have to do theirs to prevent us from getting that survival. But that great escape. I was debating whether to pull up the graphic that I did, not long back with that, with Mueslich and Osman Basic and all that lot superimposed into the great escape image, but it could still well be on. But what I will end with is this superb. I can't remember, Andy, if you said this was someone that you knew that did this. But it was put into our chat. I straight away threw it on TikTok because I thought it was brilliant. Whoever did this, do we know who did it?
No, I forget now. I
Yeah,
saw it on X and I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah,
Carl did one, didn't you? Did you do a Carl?
No, I just shared it from somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's that made me chuckle. That's for sure.
Wednesday, I love that.
It was pretty good that. But yeah, look. So Gavin, Andy, Steve, Carl, thank you for your company tonight. A more relaxed, a more positive outlook. But it could all change again next Friday. It is Good Friday. We will work. We'll probably do our live lounge on Thursday night this week. That should be fine. And then it's just picking up again, obviously, on Sunday. We probably won't change that, even though the game's on Friday, because obviously a lot of time with the family and all that sort of stuff over the Easter break. But yeah, let's see what can happen, folks. But the dream's still alive. So thanks, gents, for that. And everybody that joined us tonight, please give us a like and a follow on the relevant channels and subscribe on YouTube as well. But yeah, we appreciate you coming in. Martin Ingham has just said, I've just spotted something. What's he said? I spotted something unique about us yesterday. How many other teams in the league actually field squad numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the same team?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And just to end on a positive, Toby in the comments, Toby won his pit, we are gone. There we go. Why not end on a positive like that, eh? But yeah, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.